Okay, so I had a bunch of questions about how I sync the Cowboys radio broadcast to the TV broadcast. So I thought I'd go ahead and make a quick video to show you how I do them. And first thing I gotta do is I use Avid Media Composer. I'm a freelance editor, so if anyone needs an editor, let me know. But you can do it with any editing program. Simplest things, iMovie or any of the free Windows software. It's just finding a sync point with the multiple audio tracks. I'll show you how I do this. The first thing I do, and I think you can see this, you might not be able to see it, but first thing I do is I'll bring in the video. So I'm going to sync Dak's touchdown to Dez Bryant. Let me find it here, where did I put it? Okay. I'm going to sync Dak's touchdown to Dez Bryant, which was his first drive as the quarterback in the preseason in 2016. So the first thing I do is I bring in the video, but then within Avid, when you link to source videos instead of importing them, or in Premiere or some of the other programs, you have to transcode her. So what I'll do is go in and go to Clip, go to Transcode. I like to do it at DNX 220. That's overkill. Don't need to do that, but I always do. I'm going to blow the media out anyway. So that's fine. So it takes a minute. It's going to transcode. Now the ESPN broadcasts in 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames a second, so that's 1080i. But I'm working within a 1280 by 720p, 60 frames a second. I only do that because most of their games are on Fox. I like the way it looks better. And also, I use a program called MPEG String Clip to encode the files for the web, and it will not encode 1080p, and it struggles sometimes with 1080i over a minute. So I've always done 720p. So, okay, here we go. So my Dak to Dez touchdown is here. So what I'm going to do is make a new sequence. I'm going to name the sequence Dak to Dez touchdown 16 pre-LA with the great Brad Sham, Babe Laufenberg, and Christy Scales. So I have my new sequence. Now I have my record monitor. I'm going to patch in the play. Now I need to add 2 more tracks of audio, and I always add 1 more track of video because I'm going to throw my little Twitter bug on there just because. So I am going to step in now, and the first thing I like to do is I like to find a sync point. So generally, if there's a whistle that can be heard on the audio broadcast or the TV broadcast, you can sync them to those moments exactly. Or the easiest way to do it is when there is a penalty or the officials are talking or something of that. And other times I do it by just visually, like, okay, Brad is here and here's the play, so I'll go right to that. And it's a little off sometimes, but it really doesn't matter. Another way to do it is by the crowd. When the crowd is real good, like I just did a Antoine Woods blowing up Chris Carson on the screen from Saturday night, and you can hear the crowd. The minute he catches the ball and Woods puts a shoulder into his shoulder, you can hear the crowd, and you can hear it in both the audio and the radio or the video broadcast. So that's an easy way to do it. So let's see if we can find a sync point for Dak's touchdown to Dez here. Yeah. Let's see. Now there's a whistle. Okay, so we got a whistle. So what I like to do is, you know the whistle's here, so you're moving frame by frame. There it is, right there. There's the first mark of the whistle. And you can hear it. I'll go back to my mark.
Gain on an early down.
There it is. Okay, so there's my... Now, I'm going to go to the radio broadcast of this game. Let's see, Dallas at Los Angeles. When was this? First quarter, 6:44. So now I got to find that moment in the game, which sometimes is tricky and is time consuming, but not a big deal.
Cowboys home.
Okay, that's too loud. So I'm going to step in, and I need to make this a left and right. It doesn't need to be mid-pan. I'm going to lower this by 6. See if that's okay.
Game. I know we're anticipating 90, maybe 91,000
That's not as
fans,
loud.
but at least behind the Cowboys bench area, it's about 2/3.
Okay.
In the end zone to our right, and Dan Bailey will kick off from the 35, and his kick going to the back of the end zone, and Cooper coming out 8 yards deep. He
kind of look up. You can't see it all.
10% off your
Gary.
Will not be charged a timeout. And please put the clock to 12:22. Thank you.
Well, good challenge there by Jason Garrett.
Excellent.
Had a lot of time.
Okay, so 12:42, so that must have been the second quarter, and we are looking for first quarter, 6:40, so we got to back it up a little.
yard return. And keep in mind, one thing that comes to mind is the Cowboys under Rich Bisaccia have, I think, one of the better special teams units in the league. And in preseason, they always struggle because they're trying to figure out what they've got.
Well, the worst thing is, it just takes one guy to be out of his lane, and it gives up a touchdown, as we just saw from the Los Angeles Rams.
Case Keenum.
Okay, so
you can imagine.
Gotten a replay of the downing of that ball at the 1 yard line, but literally Jason Garrett just tossed the red flag. And
I was wrong. So they must have reviewed the punt. So we're in the first quarter here.
Pick. They let James Laurinaitis go in free.
Cannot hold there.
Yeah. At the 9, Rod Smith, not Morris. Not Morris, Rod Smith. And Smith, this is a big game, I think, for Rod Smith, because I don't know that either he or Keith Smith have really completely.
Let's see, where was Dallas? Dallas at the 10. I don't think.
Clamped down to the fullback job, but
This was a 2nd and 5. Ooh, we may be right on it, so let's check it.
Rod Smith's got tailback ability, and they both play special teams.
But I'm telling you, they're both learning the position.
Right.
Keith Smith was a linebacker. Rod Smith had never played fullback. He's a running back. A real nice job, very quickly. Dak Prescott, he had a man to avoid there in Matt Longacre to get that ball around him. And he did a nice job of just being an athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant, touchdown.
Okay, so we have Brad calling that a touchdown, and we couldn't hear on the radio broadcast. We can't hear the whistle that we heard on the TV broadcast. So the simple sync point isn't there. So the next step is I have to do this one. A lot of times, if you listen to Brad Chamelot, he won't say touchdown until he sees one of the back judge, the side judge, one of the officials actually put their hands up and say touchdown. So sometimes it's easy to sync it because I know Brad won't say it unless he sees it. So okay, so here you can see we've got the official. I'll show you over here. You can see as soon as we've got the official. So at that point, that's where Brad's going to say touchdown. So I know that Brad likes to do that. So I'm going to change my link. And I'm going to go back to Brad.
An Academy Sports touchdown.
Okay. I'm going to back it up a little.
Nice. Touchdown.
Okay. So there's Brad's name, touchdown.
Bryant.
Okay. So now I'm going to sync that in and see what we got here. I will mute tracks 1 and 2, which is the TV broadcast.
Touchdown. An Academy Sports.
Okay, so now we got to check it. So you're going to stretch out.
Academy.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to watch it from here and see if it feels right.
And Smith, this is a big game, I think, for Rod Smith, because I don't know that either he or Keith Smith have really completely clamped down to the fullback job. But Rod Smith's got tailback ability, and they both play special teams.
But I'm telling you, they're both learning the position.
Right.
Keith Smith was a linebacker. Rod Smith had never played fullback. He's a running back. A real nice job very quickly. Dak Prescott, he had a man to avoid there in Matt Longacre to get that ball around him. And he did a nice job of just being an athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop, fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant, touchdown.
I think that's good. So I mean, it's a little quicker than what's actually happening, but it doesn't have to be perfect.
Around him, and he did a nice job of just being an athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop, fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant.
Okay, so actually, when I look at it again, he's way ahead. So we got to redo this.
Side of the end zone. Double clutch.
Okay, so right there is where I want Brad to be saying double clutch.
Pumps it out of the air. Bryant.
Okay.
Touchdown.
Okay, so I'm going to try Brad here.
Pumps it out of...
Okay.
An Academy Sports touchdown.
All right, now let's see if this spot's a little better. Bring it up here.
An athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop, fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant. Touchdown.
Nope. Another way to do it is the extra point. And because this was reviewed, and I'm not going to go through the whole review. So I got to find a better spot here. So stop fade. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Brad and back it up.
Jazz Green is the guy they are counting on to win the swing tackle job. Charles Brown retired.
James Brad. He started all 65.
So the Cowboys with a first down, 1st and 10 at the Los Angeles 15.
That's a nice job of picking up that penalty. I left formation, the fullback Smith comes in motion to make it right. And Prescott with a boot to the left, goes screen.
Right open to the 15, to the 10, driven out of bounds at the 9. Rod Smith, not Morris. Not Morris, Rod Smith. And Smith, this is a big game, I think, for Rod Smith, because I don't know that either he or Keith Smith have really completely...
Actually, when I go back to this now, I wonder if...
Fullback.
There, ooh, we got the TV. You can hear the stadium announcer in the background there. And I think I can get the sync perfectly to that. So let's see if we can do this.
You can call...
Okay, so when he says joiner, it's clear. There it is.
You can call...
Joiner, right there. So let's see if we go back to Brad.
Clamped down to the fullback job, but Rod Smith's got tailback ability, and they both play...
Okay.
Fullback job, but Rod Smith's got tailback ability, and they both... You got him. Can we just start talking about Alfred Morris? I just think the guy's got all kinds of things that fit in this offense.
Well, the big thing is he's healthy. Not he's healthy, he stays healthy. He has played in 64 NFL games, Brad. He started all 64. Never missed him. It's been a lot of fun.
Super. So the Cowboys with a first down, 1st and 10 at the Los Angeles 15. That's a nice job of picking up that penalty. I left formation. The fullback Smith comes in motion to make it I right. And Prescott with a boot to the left. Goes screen left. Morris right open to the 15, to the 10. Driven out of bounds at the 9. Rod Smith, not Morris. Not Morris. Rod Smith. And Smith, this game, I think. And Smith, this...
Okay, so there we have a perfect sync with Brad saying joiner. Yep. Let's see if it sounds good. Yep, I can hear it, so... Alright, now this is perfectly in sync. Go back to Brad.
running back. A real nice job very quickly. Dak Prescott, he had a man to avoid there in Matt Longacre to get that ball around him. And he did a nice job of just being an athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop, fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant, touchdown. An Academy Sports touchdown.
We're going to have a little discussion here, I think, Brad. One official had it as a touchdown, signal touchdown.
He was carried by Sensible out of...
Okay, so sometimes you can see Brad is trailing the play even though it's in perfect sync. So Brad is reacting to what he sees, and then he's generally sometimes won't call, like I said before, he won't call touchdown until he sees it. So when you watch it here, it seems like he's behind, but it's not. This is, if you were watching, this is exact sync.
That ball around him, and he did a nice job of just being an athlete.
2nd and 5 at the 10. Stop, fade to Bryant. Left side of the end zone. Double clutch. Pumps it out of the air. Bryant, touchdown. An Academy Sports touchdown.
We're going to have a little discussion here, I think.
And then my next step is, I got this little bug that I like to put in here with my Twitter account just because. And I'm going to put that in there. And then I got to step in and make a mark at the start and at the end. Make them both. I like to do it real small, so about 35%. Then I got to move it down and over. So I want it. Oh, actually, this broadcast is a little different. So I'll do about right here. That's fine. Okay. Alright, and we don't need the replay here, so that's too much. So we'll do it right from here.
Turning the position,
Right.
Smith was a linebacker.
Go right there.
Rod Smith had never played fullback. He's a running back. A real nice job very quickly. Dak Prescott, he had a...
Okay. So, I don't need all that because it's just it's irrelevant to what we're talking about here. So I'm going to go in here, as you can see. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And I'm just going to throw a little head fade on the start and on the end. You got to mark everything in, and all I need to do is expert render, so it would just really render the top effects, but I just, because these are small, I'm going to blow out the media and all the pre-computes anyway, I just do an expert render. So it's rendering everything here. The dissolves and then the transcode, it's just being rendered. Takes just a second. I think you can see that. Okay, so now it's encoded, well, it's rendered, and so I'm going to export and step in to make sure I use my marks. I export as a QuickTime. Just going to export same as source. Okay, and then what I like to use is a program called MPEG Streamclip, which is a free program, which I think is still available to download. I'm not even sure I downloaded it years ago, and then I've just basically, every time I build a new system or whatever, I keep it on an external and just bring it back in, and you got to have a couple different codecs that make it run with QuickTime files, but they're free, everything's free. So anyway, what I'll do is open Wildcard 18. I saved it in there. Dak to Deza, Brad, Babe, and Christy. Let's make sure.
Rod Smith had never played.
That's it. Okay, so all I'm going to do is, for Twitter, I export as an MPEG 4, 1280 by 720p. Delinearized, I got it at 15,000 kilobytes a second, which, you know, it doesn't have to be that big, but that's fine. Save that one as Twitter. It will encode. MPEG Streamclip doesn't take advantage of all the cores in the processor, so it's slow. It's not real time, so it's not like you're, but it's a slow encode, and it doesn't play nice with longer files. You get over 10 minutes, it's not going to play nice. It's going to crash on you. But again, 1080, anything 1080p it's not going to, it won't encode it at all. And 1080i, it doesn't like very much either, but it will do it. But if you get over 8, 10, 12 minutes, it's something in the encode always goes crazy, and it'll crash on you, or it'll hang, stuff like that. Okay, now that one's done, and if you want to upload it to YouTube, I go to QuickTime H.264, I do it at 100% just because these are such short videos, you might as well. 15,000 megabytes a second, just like the other one. Deinterlaced at 1280 by 720. Make movie, name it, YouTube, save. And that's it. That's how I do it. So hopefully if anyone out there was interested, now you know. And you can follow me on Twitter at Todd Hebert. Timmy Johnson name is just made up when I had to make an account. They had banned my original account because of copyright issues. Nowadays, the NFL allows people to upload videos, and they get all the benefits of it, which is fine with me. I just do it for fun. I've been doing this with the Brad and Babe audio since 2005. I've just always wanted other people to hear it. That's why I moved here, to be a season ticket holder and listen to those guys in the stadium, and so I've always felt like sharing that, and I like to record the games and listen to them. So this is all for fun. I don't get anything out of it, but the enjoyment of talking to other football fans about it and stuff. So anyway, yeah, anyone needs an editor, let me know. I use Avid Media Composer, Adobe Photoshop, After Effects, Source and Squeeze, blah blah blah. All right, well, I hope this helped. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's beat the Rams on Saturday night.